This is Connor Hopkins, the crown jewel, the pretty hate machine himself, and you are listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
Hey, yo, if I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah!
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Come on in. Sit down. It's episode number 166 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. And man, am I ready for this one? You know why? Because my champion is here today, ladies and gentlemen. It is Connoring time, the crown jewel of professional wrestling. And he is here to tell us that he thanks God that he is not us. I want to thank everybody for listening right now on Spotify, YouTube, all those podcast platforms out there, everything. So let's bring in the champ here. Without further ado, you heard him, the pretty hate machine, Connor Hopkins. Welcome back finally, brother.
It has been far too long since I have graced y'all with my presence, but I am more than happy to be back. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, don't we agree? Don't we agree? Because last time you were here, episode 166, episode 60, April of 2022 was the last time you checked in with us. Of course, I've got to see you and talk to you and be around just since then, but welcome back to the podcast officially. A lot of things have changed since you've been on the pod first time.
It has been like in those 3 years, right? Just over 3 years.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a lot of change since then. Wow, man.
Yeah, we gotta cover all that, man. So, but right now, as we speak, you are the current, and I'll say it, the forever Dreamwave World Champion of the world, and
Yes,
and you know, carrying that comes a lot of responsibility, man. So, how's life? How's it been as champ over the last little bit, and are you getting used to carrying that gold around?
It's something that I don't think you ever really get used to, but it does get just a little bit easier over time. That belt, by the way, just is incredibly heavy to carry around. So that's my main responsibility as Dreamwave Champion, is making sure that I'm carrying around this gigantic, beautiful piece of leather and metal. But yeah, man, Dreamwave Champion, the youngest Dreamwave Champion in history, might I add.
Yes, you are.
Just hit the year mark in June, and things are going very well. Yeah, and still, as always.
That's right, and still, man. So, outside of that, man, how's your summer going, man? You having fun? Have you done anything cool this summer so far?
Yeah, man. This summer's been great for me. Kicked things off by getting my appendix removed, which was just awesome. But then, have been enjoying I just did a bunch of shows up in Minnesota over the last month, so it was really great getting to see all my Minnesota folks up there. But been going riding a lot when I can, just kind of enjoying the summer vibes here in the valley.
Yeah. So the riding on the 4-wheeler, I take it, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that thing still intact? You not wrecked it, ran into a wall like Stone Cold or anything like that?
I have not had any Stone Cold incidents on my my Honda Recon. No, I haven't. I'm knocking on wood here because I know it's going to happen, but I haven't had anything gnarly happen to it or while I was on it. I've been actually pretty, I wouldn't say careful, but pretty responsible with it.
There you go. That's the correct word. So, all right, cool, man. Well, as we talked about, Connor's here to talk about what's going on in this world. We're going to talk about Summer Spectacular that just happened just a little over a week ago, or it might have been 2 weeks now. But so we're going to be talking about that. But like I said, last time you were on the pod was April of 2022. Boy, howdy, things have really, in the words of Christian Rose, boy, howdy, have things, changed. But let's talk about the last 3 years in Dreamwave for you. So obviously the last time you were here and in the beginning, you were the wild child, the handsome coyote, TDC was full blown, guys were kicking ass, life was good. And then here we come with the return of Dreamwave in August of 2022. Let's talk about a couple of the matches that you've had back then. Do you remember how your first match was in 2022?
I believe our first match back, it was me. It was the Coyotes versus the Beck family, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was versus the Beck family, right? And then you had a singles match later with Axel Rico.
Yep.
TDC.
December, it was me and Rose versus the Hype, which is a tag match that I still go back and have rewatched on occasion. Like, that holds up pretty big.
Yeah, there you go. Go back in the archives on IWTV and check that one out. So, and after that, you had singles matches with Vic Capri, Stephen Wolf, and then Summer Spectacular 2023 came around. You got to wrestle Mike Bennett. Now, I know you're a big Ring of Honor guy. I know, you're a Kingdom historian, if you will.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Adam Cole later, but let's talk about Mike Bennett here. So you got to have a match with him in 2023. Your mind was probably blown, right? Like, holy shit, I'm wrestling Mike Bennett.
Yeah, man. Like, that match got announced and I had no idea about it beforehand. Like, it just completely got dropped on me. And yeah, I was freaking out because, like you mentioned, like, the Kingdom is kind of how I got into indie wrestling and how I got into Ring of Honor. They were like the first guys that I kind of like latched onto on the roster at that time. And so getting to wrestle Bennett, who I know who Mike Bennett is. Yeah. Like,
sure.
A guy who has legitimately been everywhere and done everything. Yeah, man. And that match too, like, Bennett is otherworldly good. He's just incredible to work with. And I wish we could have run it back a few more times selfishly, but like that one right there is, yeah, I loved that match with Mike Bennett for, personal and also just like, I thought it was a good match too.
Right. All right. Now I think you had a match with Hartenbauer somewhere along there, but after that, the next night was Hartenbauer, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. And then after that, the next big thing that happened was December of 2023. The Good as Gold Rumble came around, and you tossed out a guy I just mentioned, Vic Capri, to win the Good as Gold Rumble. And then we're really off to the races, right? Like you carrying around the briefcase, you automatically become a major player in Dreamwave. And then after that, I think you had a match with Bobby Orlando somewhere around in there. I think it's February. I'm not sure. But then we get to June of 2024. This pay-per-view, PLE, whatever you want to call it, was labeled No Escape. It was Christian Rose versus Gringo Loco in the cage, right? And this is where you really, insert yourself into the scene. One of the coolest, funnest, a little shocking out of nowhere, cash-ins came in. You guys rushed in like perfectly, had it planned. That you guys were gonna, it looked like you guys were gonna help Christian out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there was I think Damien slammed his head on the cage, which reminded me of like the time Flair got his head, slammed in the cage. It reminded me of when Flair slammed Ronnie Garvin's head in the cage, like back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was that picture perfect, right? And so then the cash-in happens on your TDC brethren, Christian, and you are now the Dreamwave champion all of a sudden in June of 2024. What's the mindset, going through? Like, I mean, obviously you often said, I got Christian before he got me, kind of deal. So yeah, just talk about winning the title that night, the emotions. You had to thinking, holy shit, I'm the Dreamwave champion.
Yeah, man. June 15th, 2024 is a date that I will forever remember because, yeah, man, you want to talk about energy and nerves and like just absolute insanity bottled up in one day. Like, because I won the case, the Good as Gold briefcase. Yeah, like you said, in the Good as Gold Rumble, went 55 whole minutes, won the whole thing.
Yeah, buddy.
And yeah, ended up cashing in a steel cage on my mentor, my best friend, Christian Rose, the founder of those damn it was like there was so much that like had gone into that 18 seconds, of shenanigans.
Right.
That like, and I knew where we were going from there, and I knew that it had me more excited about everything going on after than actually like winning the belt, if that makes sense. It was like it was such a like, okay, cool, like this is great. However, wait until you see the shit that we're gonna do with it. Like,
yeah, right.
It was. You're
excited for the future.
Yeah, man. It was just a rocket booster up my ass. Like it was.
Right.
So it was pure adrenaline.
So if you're watching right now on YouTube or Facebook, got a picture pulled up of one of the cage matches between Connor and Christian. Connor's laying in a good chop on Christian here. Looks like he's taking it like a man there.
That might be the best chop I've ever thrown.
and like the ripple, the muscle ripple, like looks really awesome on this, But so as champ, I think you end up wrestling Christian 3 times, a cage match, a dog collar, and then you guys had a regular match, I think, in the beginning, right? So.
Yep. So
right.
Yeah, we kicked it off. My first title defense was against Hunter Holdcraft.
Yep.
Open challenge, and then it was Io del Vikingo.
Yeah.
Was that October show?
Yep.
Which, man, Vikingo again, like that was such an insane match. But like that's kind of the Dreamwave Champion experience, I guess. Is just like, yeah, man, go out there and do it against the best in the world and see if you can hang.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then getting into that trilogy with Rose, in December, just a straight up match, and then the dog collar in February, and then the cage match like we saw the photo of in April of this year.
Yep.
I think also a solid trilogy. I knew going into it that we wanted to do a trilogy. And I figured it had to end in the cage because it began in the cage.
Sure.
So it was very fun working with the pieces to try and get there.
Yeah, makes total sense. So like you said, you had Hunter, you had Vikingo, you wrestled Christian a few times, and then just basically, over a month ago, you wrestled Colby Carino. So talk about your match with Colby.
Yeah, I would love to, man. Colby is another one that like, it's kind of the privilege of being the Dreamwave champion is you get to wrestle all of these talents from all over. And Colby is someone that I have a ton of respect for personally. Obviously the name Carino means a lot in wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it was a lot of that, just Steve Carino is very much my guy. If you can tell from the bleach blonde hair and the, just general shittiness of me. I'm a huge Steve Corino guy, but more so than that, like I've seen Colby's work. He does a lot of work with like Deadlock. He does a lot of work. He's in the NWA. He's the #1 contender to the NWA Heavyweight Championship, I believe, at least at the time of our match, he was.
Yeah.
And like I think he's just such a good, intense, physical wrestler that like has that great old school, mentality.
Yeah.
And that's something that I try to like embody a lot more of in my work, or am trying to. So like working with Colby, it was great because man, he beat the crap out of me and I was just coming back from appendix surgery.
Yeah.
So it was like I had to get over a lot of nerve and second guessing myself and all of that to go and have this match, less than 4 weeks after having surgery. Like
Right.
it was a very like, all right, let's see how tough you actually are.
Right. Yeah. And with him coming in with the last name Carino, you think here comes a guy, like just knowing who his father is, like I just look at Colby and I go, that guy's got knowledge. Because he's learned the in and outs of the business, ever since he was young, learning from his dad Steve.
Yeah.
But I mean, and another cool thing about Colby, I think you know this too, but like I was shooting promos backstage, and he helped a lot of the guys with their promos backstage. And let me tell you, from like what we come up with to what Colby helped us finish with in the promos, world of a difference, man. Like
That's awesome.
He was so helpful, so cool, and
he's super knowledgeable. Like he's generally he'll tell you that he overthinks everything, but I think that he puts the proper level of care and attention into detail that like is required to be as successful as he has been.
That was actually gonna be something that I was gonna ask. Was someone like Carino or Bennett, like these other names that you've wrestled, how receptive to your questions? I'm sure you gave them a ton of questions. I mean, I'm sure they were pretty happy to pass on knowledge bombs to you.
Dude, they are like, I have tried to pull at least one like key message away from each of those matches.
Yeah.
And like, with Colby, it really was that like attention to detail and placement of things, but also like working a bit more snug and understanding that the person that you're working with, will be there for you more. Like you just kind of have to have that trust in the other person. Or like working with Vikingo, my major lesson was like, okay, how do you have a wrestling match with such a language barrier? Because like we put together most of that without a translator, just kind of trying to like, wrestling is the universal language. So like, let's figure it out. We're both sitting here. Why not?
As a viewer, I always like wonder. I'm like, I was like, I always think something like that's got to be crazy. So that's awesome.
It's a nuts experience, but like it's a learning experience. It's something that like I really felt like I gained a lot of valuable insight. Bennett is another guy of like learning how to be comfortable just going in the ring and like never letting up off of it. He's a big like, he's not gonna call a million things. He's just gonna go out there and we're just gonna have fun and do shit and beat the shit out of each other. But like keeping up that intensity and that pace. Honestly, a lot of what it's taught me is just like how to be more intense in ring. Because like even with Dijak, most recently, like he had some really good information for me about like, your safety is always my priority in the ring. Your opponent's safety is always your priority. However, your comfort is not.
Right. Yes.
Like,
you're gonna hurt.
That's fair.
Exactly. And like, it's just it's things like that I feel like are really useful tools. In putting together a good toolbox as a professional wrestler and as just kind of a performer in general. Like a lot of these guys too, you look at the way that they conduct business and the way that they are doing their social media and the way that they are presenting themselves, to audiences, but also online and, how they're presenting themselves across the country. Like there's a lot of things to be gleaned from working with guys with that kind of prestige. That isn't just, oh man, they taught me how to do this cool thing in ring, like, there's a lot more to it.
Yeah. All right, man. Before we talk about Donovan Dijak, let's take a viewer question here. Brandon Borey from Facebook wants to know, what was your best match at Dreamwave so far?
Ooh, good question. I look fondly at a lot of the stuff that I've done, but I think like for my taste in wrestling and what I love to watch and love to consume and try to emulate, I think that the dog collar match with me and Rose is like head and shoulders above a lot of my other stuff. I just thought that it was violent and, it told a good story and it had a lot of really good moments in it. And like, there was a lot of like wrestling history that kind of got tied into it. So my personal favorite, and favorite maybe doesn't necessarily equal best, per se. People could have differing opinions. Maybe they didn't like the bloodbath, which is totally fine. That's just who I am.
Right.
But I would say like, looking at it as far as like 5-10 years down the road, what's going to hold up the most? I think that dog collar match is going to hold up, man.
All right, let's get into Summer Spectacular, man. So July the 12th, the show just dropped on IWTV. You wrestled Donovan Dijak, or you actually put the Dreamwave Championship on the line against Donovan Dijak. Came away with the win. But let's talk about that match with Dijak, man. Obviously, he's probably going to be one of the bigger dudes you've wrestled. I was watching you guys kind of stand next to each other. I mean, Donovan's, he's a big guy. He's a skyscraper for a reason, right? But talking to him, like he was really awesome to talk to. But just talk about your match with Donovan. How he. Let's see how we can stay inside the lines here. Like, how did he? Was he okay with like the skull fucker? Like, that's kind of things I want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
man.
He's like, oh, and like. Another thing I want to know is like, did he come into, the Dreamwave show? Did he know about you already? Did he look up any of your stuff? Was he familiar, with you? It's kind of things I want to know.
Yeah, man. So coming into the show, I don't think he was very familiar with me.
Okay.
A guy like that, he's booming right now. He's MLW Tag Team Champion. He's everywhere. So I don't think he was I think he like knew, obviously he knew about Dreamwave. He had been to Dreamwave before and things like that.
Yeah.
I think I was a bit of a new face, which, you know what? Totally fine. That's understandable.
T-bar. Fine. T-bar.
Exactly. I did have some ideas for him, and he humored me on a lot of them. The photo that we see right now, like the Code of Connor stuff.
Yes.
I was like, hey man, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to go out there and kind of, have fun with it a little bit. Just, be yourself. But like, as far as like the skullfucker and things like that, see, that's a guy that like, he gets it. So he was like, okay, got to get your internet spot in.
Sure.
So, I was like, exactly. I have a whole thing. Every Friday I post one. You're going to be on it. Great. Thanks.
Right.
And like, so he was like very understanding about stuff like that. And genuinely just like came there to work. It was great. He's another dude who's like, he's the real deal, and he's so big and he's so strong.
Right.
I was not anticipating. I actually didn't think he was going to be as tall as he seemed, and he was taller. In fact, he's I cannot put over to you guys how big he is.
Yeah, he looks like a center for a basketball team or something to me. You know what I mean? I'm 6'4", so I look up at guys that are bigger than me. I'm like, oh, it's a big dude, but he was big. He was solid. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like, yeah. I'd seen him up close a few times. I've seen him wrestle Keith Lee and AAW a couple times. You know what I mean? So, I'd seen him, but this was like the first time where I kind of like stood next to him, and to me, there's just something about, seeing somebody in the ring that big, that up close, to me, it's always like how high they above the top rope. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like how much they stand out, so
It's a great judge, and he is so far above that top rope.
Right. Yeah. So end up being a good match, end up being a fun match. Let's talk about the show in particular.
Yeah.
So the water balloon match went on like 3, was match number 3. You were past that 7, 8, somewhere in there, and you were still getting hit with
they were
water
reserving their ammunition just for me.
Yeah, I think that where I'm like, these kids have been holding these balloons just to throw at Connor, because like Donovan would have you in a move and all of a sudden splat. I
was getting annihilated, man. Those kids just had absolutely no manners, no decorum whatsoever.
Right. What a wild show this was, though. I talked to Jay. We were right around 1,000 people for this show. Big outdoor show. We hadn't been there since 2022 when we did an outdoor show there in October. But it turned out to be in a huge crowd. Yes, it was hot. We had a lot of Bash at the Beach vibes going on here. You was able to come away with the title, and ended up being just a big day for Dreamwave.
Absolutely,
of course.
Man.
Yeah,
it was a very big production, but I'm happy to, like, looking back on it now, say, you know what, it paid off. It was a great show. It was a very fun show.
It was.
I really enjoyed watching it back on IWTV.
Yep. And I want to shout out to Matt Tucker right now. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I got a picture of Connor. He is up on the second row posing with the beautiful Dreamwave Championship. And some rude fans decided to bring some, toilet paper rolls, like you're an old house from the 70s. They're like trying to roll you like a yard or something. But
I'm cracking up at the kid at the bottom that has his arm cocked all the way back.
Oh, yeah. He is absolutely looking to smoke me right now.
But,
man, it finally happened. I finally got my the Jimmy Rave moment,
Yes. Yep.
I was wondering how far I had to go before people started throwing stuff at me. So I'm glad to see that, we've hit the line finally.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you've reached the annoyance level. Like, people just think of stuff to bring, at the, to the shows just to throw at you, So now being, this is outdoor, so, a little less, there's no light fixtures to hit. There's no ceiling.
Yeah. It's a little easier to get away with.
It is a little easier to get away with, but I kept thinking, man, I'm like, they're going to take one of these water balloons to the face and it's just going to piss them off, because I know it would piss me off, right? Like, but
I could not believe, like, you get, like, I douse myself a little bit before I go out just to, like, wet my hair and, whatever, stay cool. And I was soaking wet by the time the match started. I had gotten pelted with so many water balloons, and Tucker actually did a great job. You can see in that photo, there's one in flight headed right for me. Yeah, man, it was such a weird energy for a show. Like, outdoor shows like this always are a weird energy.
They are. And
I'm glad that it was a weird in a good way, and not a weird in like a, oh man, no one cares about this way.
Yeah, I think it was in a way where a lot of people came to the show that maybe had never been to a wrestling show, probably definitely never been to a Dreamwave show.
Yeah.
But I would bet my ass that most of these people that came would come to another show, or would come to a show at the Knights of Columbus, So I mean, that's how much like a fun show it was, and there was a DeLorean there. Becca came in on a tour bus, so entrances galore, man. So it was a lot of pomp and circumstance with this one. So
yeah, and I think it gave us a good blueprint for ideas for outdoor shows moving forward. Because I know that, like, because of the success of this one, that it's definitely not out of the question that it's going to happen again.
Right.
So I think next time there's an outdoor show announced for Dreamwave, get your tickets, because it's gonna be even bigger and more overproduced than this.
Yeah.
And we had a beach for this one.
Right. And you know how we roll, man. We had 1,000. We're going to be shooting for 1,500 next time. You know what I mean? So, but before we talk about what's coming up next for Dreamwave, I want to talk about for a second, Connor. So a lot of people, you know, they talk about getting ready for a match, right? And as soon as they come through the curtain, you know, they morph into this person or, you know, whatever. Man, one of the things I love about you, I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but one of the things I love about you is like when you come through that curtain, you have like this, like, and I don't even know if you know you have it, but you know, it's like you have this perfect like scowl on your face. You know, it's almost like it's an arrogance scowl, but it's like bow down to me type, you know, and plus it's like not really acknowledging. Like I was watching you walk to the ring, you know, these kids are going crazy, you know, and you're just like, yeah, you know, you're just not even acknowledging them. So, you know, and like to me, like I feel like there's like this big transformation with you, like when you come through the curtain, like, man, you jump in the character and it's on, you know. Is that what it feels like when you come through the curtain?
Yeah, man. That's funny because I don't even realize that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like it's become such a subconscious thing of like, I can't get fully into it until I've hit that curtain. And once I hit it, like it's, you know, you lose yourself in it. I guess I'm going for contempt for the audience. That's, you know, that's the word for it or whatever. But like, yeah, man, no one's ever brought that up to me before. That's fun. I just really try to lose myself in it. And like, you kind of just become that guy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's
now go back and look at yourself at some shows. Like when you come out, you have this look that like, and you'll see like throughout the shows, if you go back, you know what I mean? They're all very same, but you know, maybe just a little different depending on the match, depending on the situation. But like the one you did at Summer Spectacular, chef's kiss, man. It was like awesome because like you just have like this like disgusted I'm here look, but I'm about to smoke this 7-foot basketball center. I gotta wrestle, you know what I mean? Like, you know, type look. But yeah, it was great, man. So let's talk about what you got coming up, man. I know there's no matches announced, but we got 3 shows in 2 days coming up, just a few weeks. Uprising 6 on Friday, and then Taste of Illinois on Saturday. You're going to be on that card, and then Saturday night, the hands were dealt. It's basically like a lethal lottery. Nobody knows who they're going to be wrestling. It's all, you know, kind of a mystery. What a fun card that's going to be.
It's going to be, that weekend is going to be such a, what I'm going to call miserable fun time, because it's going to be a blast. 3 shows in 2 days, and they're Dreamwave shows. Oh man, like I'm going to have my wrestling fix, baby. But like, I am going to be so tired on Sunday.
Yeah, not to mention the innovator of violence is going to be in the house too. So Tommy Dreamer.
Like the lineup of people who are just going to be there for the hands were dealt, the I don't know what we're calling it, a roulette style show, you know, it's a
lethal lottery,
it's
something like that.
There's going to be a card dealer, I know.
Yes
There's going to be, it's going to have like a whole gambling thing. I'm very excited for that portion, just to see how they set that up and pull that off. But yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I mean, obviously, none of us have any idea what we're doing. But I have heard some rumblings about what my match is for the free show, for the Taste of the Illinois Valley show earlier in the afternoon. And it's honestly, it's a free show, but like, you should probably buy a ticket for that match.
You should probably come to it because it's going to be worth your time. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely worth your time. So, yeah. So big one coming up. Tickets still available for, let's see. Tickets still available for, the hands were dealt at www.dwtix.net. We're close to sellout on both shows. Now the Saturday Taste of Illinois show is free. So you just come out, bring a chair, blanket, whatever, enjoy. There's still tickets available Friday and Saturday night. So, all right, Connor, we talked about Dreamwave a little bit, man. Let's get to you a little bit. Let's talk about things that have happened in your life lately.
Yeah.
You moved out of God's country, Decorah, Iowa. You're not there anymore. Now you're snuggled up in lovely little LaSalle. So how's that benefited you moving to LaSalle, being in the home of Dreamwave, and just you still got family in Iowa?
Yeah. So moved out of Iowa early last year. I've been in LaSalle now for a little over a year.
Yep.
And honestly, it was a thing where I knew that the Dreamwave School was opening sometime soon, and I knew I wanted to be a part of that. I knew that my involvement with Dreamwave was going to be getting bigger, and so I really wanted to capitalize on that as well. And plus, I have a lot of friends in this area as well, and so moved from Decorah out here to LaSalle, and I have to tell you, apart from Dreamwave, which obviously it's great because living in the area where the shows are, it's not hard travel. You get to be right at the forefront of everything. But apart from that, honestly, I like living in LaSalle. I am from Illinois originally. And so always love, being in Illinois. So, LaSalle is a cool town, man. And on top of, all of that, it's very easily located right at the intersection of Interstate 80 and 39, which as a wrestler, to a lot of other people doesn't mean anything, but as a wrestler traveling through the Midwest, that is perfect location right there.
It is. Jump on either one of those and you're on your way to wherever you need to go. Yeah.
Yep.
Was it a little weird moving, leaving the home, so to speak,
Yeah, man, it was super weird. I had lived in Decorah for almost 6, 7, 8 years. I can't remember exactly how long I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very weird giving that part of my life up, and I had made it a big part of my identity. It was part of my wrestling character,
Absolutely.
It was a lot of stuff. So it was very scary at first, but I knew that personally I was ready for a change and a change of scenery, and this just seemed like a good next step to do something different, because I feel like a lot of times we kind of get stuck just in our one spot, or at least I felt like I was kind of stuck in my spot and things weren't changing for me, and I wanted to make a change. So I figured, what's the easiest way to do that? Well, get up and find new scenery, greener pastures, as it were.
There you go. And since moving to LaSalle, you got a radio gig. You're do I call you a DJ?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tell everybody where they can hear you, what time you're on, what kind of music you listen or have to play at the station, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. So I am the morning show host for Classic Hits 106. It's a local station out of LaSalle. It's a classic hit station playing everything, from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Do you say this is Dreamwave Wrestling Champion, baby, and you're listening to 106.1?
I absolutely do. Every Monday after a Dreamwave show, I make sure to plug and still your Dreamwave Champion. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
I love it.
But yeah, man, I love doing it. I've been there for 6, 7 months now. I started in November of last year, but yeah, you can find it online, classichits106.com if you want to listen.
Yeah.
Plug right there.
Yeah.
But it's a morning show, so it's 6 to 10 a.m. weekdays. I'm the early guy, which let me tell you, waking up at 4 a.m. every day has been such a lifestyle change for me.
I bet. Is it 5 days a week or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, 5 days a week plus, remote events and whatever. They want us to be local celebrities out in the city of LaSalle. And I said, I am way
ahead. You're already holding the most prestigious title in LaSalle.
Got it covered.
And a DJ. So, I don't know what else you can do there, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
That's cool. All right, let me bring you down here a little bit, man. I thought about you because you're one of the biggest Adam Cole guys that I know. What do you think about his recent announcement?
Man, it's a huge bummer. It really bums me out. We were talking earlier about like how the Kingdom kind of got me into indie wrestling and Ring of Honor. And like more specifically, it was Adam Cole. You can see it in my work clear as day. I'm a huge Adam Cole guy.
Yeah.
And I'm really bummed because it seems like in recent years he's just been kind of cursed, with poor health and unfortunate accidents and injuries.
Yeah.
And like, you never want to see someone step away, but it almost does make me glad in a way, because I'm glad that he's taking care of himself and that he's, ensuring that he's going to have the quality of life that he deserves, after all of this is said and done. Because like, the last thing that I want is for him to wind up even more injured or wind up, just suffering because of it.
Sure.
Like,
yeah. Something more.
He's a human being at the end of the day. And it really guts me to lose such an important performer, in my opinion. Like, and this is all me speaking, candidly just about my feelings on the matter. Like, I'm sure there are people who are like, oh, Adam Cole isn't that influential or whatever. But like, he was just such an important part of my like wrestling fandom, and is the reason why I wanted to become a pro wrestler myself, because I said that's the kind of guy, that I felt like I could be in the world of wrestling. And it's someone that I try to really emulate a lot of. He's someone that I have nothing but respect and admiration for. I've never met the guy or anything, I'm just a fan, but like, yeah, man, it really gutted me finding out live.
I mean, when our heroes retire, it's sad to us, right? You know what I mean? For whatever reason, whether it's injury or they're old or, or they're just, their time is up in wrestling. You know what I mean? Like it's always a little sentimental, like kind of like touches your heart a little bit. Like, oh man, you know what I mean? But
yeah. And like the thing about wrestling is like the work that you do lives on after you're done. So you can always find some solace in that. And it's like, again, I'm happy for the guy that he is acknowledging enough, like, I need to do what's right for me. Because I think sometimes we as wrestlers don't ever want to give it up,
Sure.
So the wheels fall off. And sometimes you got to stop before the wheels fall off.
Right.
But that being said, I would love it if he came back in like 4 years and went on his like Shawn Michaels trash bag pants Jesus run. Like if we're if there's something out there in the world that is going to allow that to happen, and we get actually like 5 of the best years of Adam Cole that we've ever gotten, and then he's really done for reals forever this time, guys, that would be a very nice little bow. But I'm not going to hold my breath for it. I hope he's doing well.
That'd be the perfect send off. Yeah. So how you feel about your wrestling journey thus far, Connor? Do you feel like you're where you need to be? How are you feeling?
I'd be lying if I said that I was content ever with where I'm at. Like winning the Dreamwave Championship was awesome because it felt like great validation for a lot of work that I had done.
Yeah.
But to me, all it really said was, okay, here's a level that you can reach. Now it's time to find how you can use this to reach that next level. And like, I don't know, I've always been someone that's kind of motivated like that. It's not necessarily like a nothing is ever good enough, but it's I refuse to be satisfied. I refuse to be complacent is what I'm looking
for. You should always have goals.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
definitely.
And like, so yeah, winning the Dreamwave Championship was a huge goal, crossed off the bucket list. And now it's kind of like, I'm happy with where I've been, but I'm impatient with where I want to be going.
Sure. Where do you want to be going?
Man, I would be lying if I said, I didn't want to be signed or on TV or whatever.
Sure. I feel like you slip right in on Ring of I see. I just about said Ring of Connor because I've said it so much. Ring of Honor programming.
This whole gimmick has been a psyop to try and get myself onto Ring of Honor. Like that's ultimately like legitimately, I know they say like, if you don't want to win the world championship at WrestleMania, don't get in the. And I'm like, no, man, I would be so perfectly happy wrestling weekly on Ring of Honor, like
Right.
that. You know, it's not so much now that like the name Ring of Honor, you know, but like, yeah, man, the Ring of Honor. It's right there, and I feel like with a lot of the talent that they have on their roster now, I feel like those are a lot of people that I want to work with, anyways.
Yeah,
and like would gel with,
sure.
You know, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Let
me take a question here from Jim Wilson. Jim's a longtime Dreamwave fan.
Oh, yeah.
He's been at basically every show period. He's asking, what are your best mentors to you so far along your journey?
That's a great question. So Christian Rose, obviously, that no good, lousy, deadbeat dad that he is. Christian Rose has been a huge mentor for me.
Yeah.
Our friendship, outside of the ring too, like, just, it's nice. It's been nice having him along this journey. But another one that I always like to shout out is Eric Cannon.
Yeah.
Cannon is somebody that I've gotten to work with, in the ring, and also just like gotten to see how he operates, and he operates at a very high level. And just getting to learn from Cannon, whatever I can, whenever he decides to, bless me with some knowledge. It's always nice. Like, he's somebody that I really like look up to and admire and respect. He's a legend on the indies, and like, you'd be silly not to listen to somebody like that. So yeah, Cannon is definitely somebody that like has been, whether he knows it or not, someone that I have really tried to listen to a lot of his advice and have gone to him for a lot of advice.
Right. So what do you think the next 5 years looks like for you?
Whew. I think, let's see, in 5 years, I'll be 31. And when I started wrestling, I said that I wanted to be signed by 30.
Okay.
So hopefully there's something like that. But otherwise, honestly, like, what I see for myself for the next 5 years is just continuing to do this thing that I love at as high of a level as I am allowed to and that I am capable of. Probably still going to be an avid watcher, consumer, and emulator of the early 2000s indie style. I will never stop,
You're ingrained
carrying
that
that flag.
Man. Like, yes, that's just you. It's like, now it's like you're like the only thing left from that era. You're like the only thing walking from that era. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I'm a relic, baby.
Right.
But yeah, I think like I would love to be, at some point, I would love to get out to Deadlock Pro. They're usually out on the East Coast there. I would love to get out there. I would love to be on GCW, Ring of Honor, obviously. AEW is a big goal of mine as well.
Sure.
So like, I think in the next 5 years, hopefully taking more steps towards that. I'm so bad with predicting the future though, because I am just, I am where the wind takes me. So,
sure.
Maybe I'll all of a sudden decide that wrestling isn't my calling and it's actually fly fishing, and I'll disappear into the woods and never talk to anyone ever again.
Right. Do you have like a must wrestle list, like a list that, you'd like to knock out? Like, give me a handful of guys that you'd like to mix up. I know a lot of people are asking what your dream match is, that kind of stuff. So if you could cover that.
Okay. I have too many to think of, just like
anybody from the 2004 TPI, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's 24 guys right there. Brian Keith is a huge one for me.
Okay.
BK is awesome, man. I've been on a few shows with him at Time Bomb Pro up in North Dakota. Would love to get in there with him because he shares a lot of the same, love that I do. We talk about a lot of the same stuff. I always have to ask him, hey, are you doing any Akiyama stuff? Because I'm going to do the wrist clutch exploder. But like BK is one for sure. Eric Stevens is back from retirement.
Yeah.
And that's a guy where I'm like, yeah, let's run it. Let's see what's going on. Roderick Strong is another one that I would love. I don't know like if he takes indie dates, but man, me and Roddy I think would be a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Like me and Effie. I would love to wrestle Effie.
Y'all haven't mixed up before?
No.
For some reason I feel like you guys had.
No, man. We like I got to know Effie pretty well just by, hanging out at GCW and whatever. And being on shows with him. But no, we've never gotten to wrestle. And I always say, like, I want to wrestle Effie in a no-ring death match, I think. I think that's what I want.
All right.
But, like, if we're talking, like, anybody, Moxley is a guy that, like, is a dream match of mine at this point. Mox is so cool, man. And he's so intimidating. And he's so scary. But, like, he gets wrestling, I feel like, on a different level than like 95% of the planet. Like he's an elite breed. And that's somebody that like my style is I get beat up a lot.
Yeah.
And he would have no problems obliging me in just absolutely kicking my ass.
All right. Speaking of Christian, you guys have a podcast together, man. Tell everybody about your podcast.
Yeah, dude. I hate to come on a podcast and plug a podcast, but I will.
It's only because I like you guys. I don't do this shit for anybody. So.
Yeah, so we do the What Are We Even Doing Here podcast.
I enjoy it.
Well, thank you, man. It is the worst show you've ever heard. It is.
You got to embrace it, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. We know what we are. Yeah. It's a very unprofessional show, but it's me, Rose, and Davian Deschain hanging out, drinking beers, talking about wrestling and movies that we've watched, and random non sequiturs, and it's a lot of fun. Just going back, it's formatted around like we review old shows, but also sometimes we'll just do whatever. We'll watch movies. We'll we review the Dreamwave shows, or we do recaps when they come out and stuff. We have a patreon.com/wowedpod. Episodes out every Thursday on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasting from.
Yeah, it's funny stuff. So let me imagine if you're a Dreamwave fan, right? Let's say you don't really know Christian other than the competitor. Listen to this podcast. I think you'll really get an idea of Christian and Connor and Damien, kind of like how their brain is working with wrestling too, but also like you get kind of what's
the appeal is that it's three guys sitting around a microphone just having a conversation. And so like if you like to be a part of conversations about wrestling like that,
yes, we
try to make it feel like you're a part of the conversation.
Right. Yeah. Very, very good way to put it there. I like that. You got any socials you want to plug, any of that stuff, man, before we go home?
Absolutely. You can follow me on pretty much every social media platform at Connor Hopkins 98. Spell it with an O-R. I keep seeing people with the E-R, and that is incorrect.
Spell it
Connor
right,
Hopkins
people.
98 on Twitter, Instagram. I think I still have a Blue Sky. Find me on there. I have a Facebook page. It's mostly just updates from my Instagram. I honestly am not a huge social media guy, but it's a requirement in this day and age, so I kind of am obligated to.
You're probably want to catch my thoughts, Instagram, probably, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Instagram and Twitter are usually just my big ones. If you want to hear my thoughts about music or early 2000s indie wrestling, you can follow me there.
Yeah, so we got to talk about one thing before we go home, because my favorite band in the world is the Deftones. Connor's, you're a huge fan of them too, and a
blossoming fan of Deftones for sure. I'm really trying to get more and more into them.
Okay, and I've been into them since the 90s, and so like, when Connor's put like music to some of his Instagram stories and stuff, it's been Deftones. So I've kind of like started paying a little more attention. And now, they dropped a new single. We've been talking about that, but I do want to tell you super fast how I became a Deftones fan. So
Yes, please
I
do.
want to say Around the Fur came out like late 90s, like 97, somewhere around in there.
I believe 97.
So a buddy of mine bought a car from some random Yahoo in Miami, right? So we drive down to Miami. He wanted me to drive his car down so he could drive the car back. So we go down, we pick up the car, we bring the car back. I don't even remember what kind of car it was. I couldn't remember. But anyway, so we get it back, we're cleaning it up, and my buddy Joey goes, "Hey man," he goes, "there's a CD in the back seat." And he picks it up and he shows it, and it's Around the Fur. And I started looking at it, I was like, and he's like, Deftones. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't even know who they are, man. Like, maybe I, you know what I mean? I was like, oh, but I was like, whatever, give me the CD. I remember I went on a road trip after that, put the CD in the old CD player in the car.
Track 1, baby.
Boy, was I
and it
hooked,
just...
man. Yes. Yes. Man, I was hooked ever since.
Around the Fur is my favorite album of theirs.
So good.
And like, yeah, dude, it kicks off with My Own Summer, which is one of their best songs, like bar none. It's and such an incredible song. It's like my go-to like lifting song. Like,
yeah,
I get in the car to go to the gym and I have to hear that just really loose snare shot right away to get into anything.
Yeah, Be Quiet and Drive is my favorite song of all time. Like, I could listen to that song every day. I love it. It's like, it's kind of like, I love it because it's a jam. I love it because it kind of takes me back to a time when I was younger. You know what I mean? And I just went and seen them in Indianapolis back in April when they did the tour. And, the whole thing was just it was just a playlist of, I mean, they could play any song and I would love it, but it was just like a nice playlist of all the hits, man. And let me tell you, I got my fucking rocks off, boy. It was the shit.
I want to go see them really bad in concert. Like, they're on my bucket list of bands that I want to go see when they come through the area. Them and Queens of the Stone Age are the big ones for me right now.
Yeah. So you like the new Deftones single? I know we kind of talked about it,
You know what? I said that I was coming around on it, and I have. I saw a really great Stephanie Vaquer highlight video set to it, and that kind of locked it in place for me, where I was like, you know what? No, I really like this now. So yes, I am excited for the new album finally.
Yeah, and I think they'll probably do another tour when that one finally drops. But all right, man, I want to get you out of here on this. One more thing, man. So I got a lot of TDC shirts hanging in the closet, Connor. We can't just like not go back to this eventually, you know what I'm saying? But I do want to say, TDC was such a part, of your career, over the last little bit. Does it feel a little weird that we're kind of past that all now? Like,
it's very weird, and I'm gonna do a little show and tell of myself. Like, wait, hold on. How am I gonna? I have it tattooed on my thigh, man. Like, it's very weird being post TDC. It was all just a money making scheme the whole time. But like, dude, that was such like, I would call that maybe the most like instrumental part of my career so far is like those years really honing in on TDC. And especially since like the comeback of Dreamwave, like really, I feel like we were on every show multiple times. And like, it feels so weird to not be doing that anymore. But never say never to the inevitable, the Triple H and Shawn Michaels stare down in the ring.
There you go.
Yeah. I always feel like too when I put a TD shirt on now, like I'm wearing a throwback. I'm like, oh, this feels like a couple years ago or years, 2 ago, whatever, So
it feels vintage.
Feels a little nostalgic.
Yeah, the camo TDC shirt. Yeah, I have that one.
Now I got to buy separate Connor Hopkins shirts, separate Christian Rose shirts, separate. So it's
all been a scam this whole time.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You guys got me. But But thanks for being on the pod today, brother. Really appreciate it. Was glad to have you back after a couple years. Maybe we won't wait so long next time. So
another 100 episodes.
Yeah, there you go. Check in every 100 episodes.
Yeah, I want to thank everybody for watching on Facebook and YouTube, and everybody listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those podcast platforms out there, including SportsWire Radio. I want to thank everybody for listening today. Glad to have finally my forever Dreamwave champion on the pod, Connor Hopkins. For Primo, I am DB. We'll see you guys next time. Keep spreading the good word of wrestling. It's a groovy little tune, ain't it, buddy?
It is, man.